We are, it looks like we are now live. So welcome everyone. I'm Larissa Russell of Heart Centered Academy, and today we're here for the Aligned Ambitions Show where we share women's entrepreneurial wisdom. And if you're a woman starting or growing your online heart centered business, or wanting to do things differently? Do you feel icky about manipulative marketing practices? I really need to record this. And are ready to align your business with your ethics, values, and life goals? Then stick around for this conversation. Today, I have with me Kate Macumber. Kate is a brand strategist and designer for spiritual female entrepreneurs. She integrates her clients' human design into their brand strategy so they can show up aligned, authentic, and unapologetically. She strongly believes taking the time to slow down, which I need to do, and look inward, exploring your heart and soul before establishing your brand will ensure a solid, unwavering business. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. And like I was saying to you before we started, I probably should have taken a breather break. It's been one thing after another today. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more while
Okay.
I breathe.
All right. Good. Yes. Take some good deep breaths. Yes. My name is Kate Macumber, and I am a brand strategist. I like to incorporate human design into my process, which has been so profound and powerful in my clients' brands as we bring it to life. Because first, we really get into their energy and how they're supposed to operate in the world. And we really get into their strengths that may have been kind of hiding underneath all of the programming and conditioning that they've experienced since growing up, teachers, parents, society, media, and really uncovering a lot of these powerful traits within them that we then incorporate into their strategy. And then we also have one or two strategy sessions in the process where that's where we really focus on your clients and their challenges, the emotions they're feeling, everything they're going through as in the customer journey. And then we develop your purpose, vision, mission statement. We do a competitive analysis, which really it's really a collaborator or a strategic alliance, making sure you're differentiated from other people in your industry, because you are the only one really in your industry. Like bringing all your uniqueness together and making your brand truly unique and distinguished from the others will set you apart. And then we develop the visual identity, logos, design assets, and making it a brand experience for visitors to your website, your social media. Every touch point along the way is so cohesive and so beautifully designed that really has brought out the you inside your true essence, and it makes it so impactful and very, very authentic.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I don't know a lot about human design. I mean, I know a bit
Okay.
about it, but that seems like it would be so incredibly personal
Yeah.
to, build your brand from that. And
Yeah.
how did you start that? Like, how did you start that? These are very different sides, right? The
Right.
branding and human design.
Yeah.
How did you bring them
So
together?
I did start in like logo design, brand development, brand strategy. And I tried to, on my own, create my own business a few years ago, and it just wasn't working out. I didn't know about human design at the time. Come to find out, I was not following my strategy and authority. I was just trying to initiate and put stuff out there, and it was just falling flat. I felt very frustrated. I didn't really have like a guidepost to or a map telling me where to go in my business, and especially what works for me. So I quit all of that. I got an office job and working inside my little cubicle with the fluorescent lights. So you were sucking away my life. I kind of slowed down a little bit. I finished my work very quickly. And at the end of the day, I didn't ask for more work because I was just like I don't want to be here. I want to be working on my own business. So I did a little reflection, looking at personality tests, the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, and then I rediscovered human design. I had it come across into my presence a few years before that, but I looked at it and was like, this is so bizarre. I immediately just forgot about it because it looked so crazy. And so then I came across it again and really got into it, like all the energy centers and the channels, and how this is your blueprint or your manual that's based on where the stars were the day you were born, the moment you were born, and 88 days before you were born, making it this like this unconscious and conscious side of you and how they connect. And it looking into my human design and my family members' human designs, so accurate. It was truly unbelievable. And then at the same time, I was re-looking into brand strategy. And I was like, oh my gosh, if people could just strip away these things that they are feeling that are holding them back, or they're suppressing, or maybe they're working in their business the certain like hustle type way, and I was working in a strategy that's not meant for them energetically, it would totally change their business. It would change how they do things, like different offers that they have. And so I immediately combined them together. And there are a couple other people out there doing this. And of course, they have their way, they have their uniqueness, and I have my uniqueness and the way that I approach it and combine everything together. And then I started offering it to my clients, like, let me try this, or at least let me give you a reading and we can go into your chart and see if it is affirming the path that you're on. Maybe change things up a little bit if you're like, maybe you're a projector, but you've been doing this generator energy where you have like, you have to work throughout, you think you have to work throughout the day. That's kind of how society has been built, where we are working long hours throughout the day. But for certain types of energy types, they should only work 2 or 3 hours a day, and then they are depleted. So let's maybe tweak a few things. And then more and more working with my clients and integrating different aspects of activations in their chart into their mission statement, purpose statement, vision, messaging, especially. It just became so powerful. And even looking at the high frequencies of their activations in their chart and pushing them to reach this next level, to really drop all of these things that have been holding them back or doubting themselves, and be like, no, you have these very strong energies in your chart. We are going, that's our direction. That's where we're going. And we're going to push you. And it has just been incredible working with my clients and bringing their human design into it. So that's a very long-winded answer.
Oh, I love that answer though, because it's very detailed so that you can understand, this complex system of,
It is
well, it feels complex,
it is
right?
very complex.
Yeah,
Yes.
system. And, but I think it's brilliant. One of the things that we talk about here is doing things differently, right?
Yes.
How we can
Yes.
do things differently in a more
Yep.
feminine energies,
Yes.
stepping out of the masculine energies that
Yep.
tell us to do things a certain way. We can do
Yep.
it different ways. And it's not going to be the same for everyone, but there are
Yep.
different ways of doing it. And so I
100%.
love that. I love that you shared that. And how did you end up leaving corporate or whatever you were doing before and really able to stand on your own in your own business?
Wow. Well, after like 11 months, I was just like, I'm ready to jump back into my own business and do things differently. Learning about my design, I learned that I'm a 2-4 profile, and the 4 means that I need networks. And I joined a network. It was called the Mompreneur Networking Group, and then another one. And that's where I got all my clients. They just flowed to me. And that was really affirming, that like that 4 line meant I need to be in a network. And that gave me so much more confidence. And as I explored my design more and peeled away the layers, looking, oh my gosh, the activations in my chart totally matched what I'm doing now. And it was just so validating that pushed me to keep going forward, like to not give up. Of course, as an entrepreneur, you want to give up a lot.
100 times, 100 times.
Yes.
Even when things
And
are good, 100 times,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And just like I can't do that. It's a part of my energy and it, it's this divine plan. I honestly believe that has that you can find in this chart, and that has helped give me the confidence.
Mm.
And just I'm so passionate about it, which is a part. I'm a manifesting generator, so being passionate and showing up fiery and just like so excited about what you do in your messaging and becoming visible is also a part of that. And it's something that I could talk forever about. I want everyone to know about human design, even if you don't need a brand or anything. I still want to share it with you. And even just if you're stuck somewhere, you need clarity in making a decision, or you feel very confused or frustrated in the direction you're going, I can still work with you to uncover this and like bring so much clarity, open up those channels to really bring in momentum and movement in your business.
No, I love that. I love that because it's true when you're starting out and there's all the things and you don't know if you're going in the right direction. And many of us switch directions in the first couple of years, right? And we
Mhm.
try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that. We know what we want to do, but not really how to do it, right? Like how
Yeah.
to best deliver it.
Yeah.
And so tapping into what is our essence
Yep.
makes all the difference. Like I feel like that would I had my this separate astrology, but I had my birth chart done this year correctly because I had the wrong birth hour,
Oh,
but it
okay.
made quite a big difference. And
Wow.
so when I found out my actual birth hour and had it done, because it never really made sense to me, and it was so spot on all the things that had happened in my life, but
Mm.
also where I was going this year, and then tapping into my intuition with that, and just could see everything, you know, lining up the way
Oh,
it's supposed
wow.
to. And
That's
it's just like,
incredible.
using those energies that are available to us that are
Yeah.
not what our head is told,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It makes the difference. It makes all
Hmm.
the difference. Yeah.
Right. That's what I talk about so much. Like, this is a system to help you get out of your head and into your heart and make those decisions based on what you're feeling in your body, in your soul, in your heart, and to stop overthinking.
Yeah. Because we do. It's the brain, right?
Hmm.
It's there. It want to just keep us safe, that
Yep.
survival instinct that we have,
Yep.
which then comes through the brain talking to us, all the things why we shouldn't do that, why, we need to do it this way, all of that. But when we
Yeah.
can stop and listen,
Yes.
oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and so using human design to do that, you must have to do like quite a bit before you actually get to the branding, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And
it's a
that's
real deep dive.
It is. And that's why I like to call it feminine first, or, starting with and going deep into the roots, into the earth, to the dark, and uncovering it and really exploring your energies. And the kind of path that I use in my reading or the initial sessions starts with like your unconscious Mars, which is your core wound, and going from the shadow frequency into the gift frequency. And there might be some deconditioning that you have to do along the way to really understand this energy and have it resonate with you. So I do like to have one or two sessions where we explore this,
Mhm.
and it might bring up something. It might change the way that you're thinking about doing things, especially if you discover that you are a non energy being, like a projector or a reflector, and you might have to change things the way that how you operate. Um, and so after we go into that aspect, then we go into the brand strategy, which is also still a very slow discovery. 1 or 2 sessions, which are 1 or 2 hours long, just brain dumping everything, like everything's being in your head, and then bouncing it off of me, really having that person outside of you to reflect it off of is so key. Um, and then we get into the creative part, the visual identity, the logo, the colors, really creating a cohesive brand. And then we jump into the masculine side of the marketing, the strategy, implementing, creating structure. And then that part moves a little more quickly because
Mm-hmm.
as I'm a manifesting generator, so I am able to work through things very fast and get them up and running and launched for you. Um, and, and also removing that, like that freeze or that decision paralysis where you have all these plans and you want to do them, but you can't for whatever reason. Like, I'm here to take those plans and do it and help you, empower you to do it, to learn all of the social media steps, creating the imagery and the visuals, the captions, and then we do it. Like, I help you move into that masculine and execute.
Right. Yeah, because that's an important part is that we can't just be in the feminine. We wouldn't
Yeah.
get anything done. So
Yep.
we need the masculine energy as well. And I talk about this often because it's not men and women, it's energies, and there's
Yeah.
feminine energies, masculine energies, and you do need both. You
Yep.
do need both. But yes. And I just think about the entrepreneurs that I work with, and they're always in just such a rush. And it's like, could we stop and do the fundamentals first?
Mm-hmm.
As we always want to rush ahead. How do you get them to stop and really spend time on this? Because it's a
Yeah.
constant battle, it seems.
It is part of the schedule. So I schedule it out and we have our sessions and try to stick to them. With my clients, it's been a little more of the like delaying. I think what you're saying, like your new rebrand is taking been delayed and delayed and delayed. And I've
Hmm.
been experiencing that with my clients because it's just life happening. Um, so it's kind of the opposite of them wanting, like, they are slowing down. They can't avoid it sometimes, but I upcoming, especially with my new offer that we'll talk about a little bit at the end, is really sticking to this predetermined schedule. Also, depending on your energy type or some other aspects in your chart where, like, you are very slow at processing things and need to digest it. So, we might intentionally schedule 3 weeks between sessions instead of one. But if you do want to move faster, we can intentionally schedule it that way as well, as and then ensuring that we stick to the schedule and don't delay it, or like have workarounds or have like a backup session scheduled, because like I'm a mom of 3 boys and they have been homesick one day almost every week since school started. So I totally get having to delay sometimes,
Hmm.
but just being proactive about having a close day to have our session.
Yeah. I think more about them wanting to rush ahead, right? And
Yeah.
having to like, okay, you can, but you're just wasting your time is what I keep telling them.
Yes.
It's like,
Right. And a lot
but
of people
they're getting
think
so excited.
I need to just start with my logo. That's the very first starting point. But no, like, we need to go back
Hmm.
and slow down and look at, your heart and your soul and really take our time to embody it and feel it. Um, Otherwise, me just giving you all this information and you gloss over is not going to do anything. So we really need to break it up. In between sessions, we're chatting, sending messages about insights or breakthroughs that they're having. So then they can really feel into it, including reflection questions and journaling prompts, so they can really embody it and feel it. And then that shows up even more strongly when they're putting their business out there, when in their marketing and messaging.
Yeah. So do the front end work and the payoff is in the back end. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Love that. I love that. And if someone wasn't ready to work with you, what is one thing that they could do for themselves to align for their
Looking,
branding?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first looking to your human design, you can go to my website, nurture-branding.com/bodygraph-chart and get your human design body graph. And there's an whole explanation about everything in your chart and your type. I would first start with your type, strategy, and authority. Your profile, which are these two numbers that are side by side, will also give you a lot of insight. And those four things can really give you a lot of guidance in your brand. So depending on your type, the way that you communicate will be differently. Your aura is different. The way that you, like generators and manifesting generators, they have this warm and enveloping and passionate aura. So that will naturally show up in your messaging, whereas projectors have a very penetrating aura, and they are here to guide you. So you have this very friendly, guiding tone. And so it's very different depending on the energy type. And then profile is like your archetype, your brand archetype, which is innately within you. So you can look into those four things and see how it sits with you. And then think about how to use it more in your brand.
Love that. I love that. And then I see that you have a free gift. Is that the human design that you can do on your website, or was there something more to that?
Yeah, so the link is to my free masterclass, and you also get a workbook. It's really just like the first three steps beyond what I just talked about. It talks about your type, strategy, authority, and then looking into your conscious sun, your conscious Mercury, and your conscious North Node, and seeing how you can bring those energies into your brand and your brand story, your mission, purpose, and vision statement. And it's really just like planting that seed of your brand. I have this whole analogy about how branding is like a flower, and it starts with the seed and then the roots and then the stem and the visual, the logo is a flower. But this is really just like the first few steps that I bring my clients on in the process. So there's a masterclass and then a workbook with reflection questions. And then the body graph is also free.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go check that out because I don't know enough about it. So I will definitely check that out. And you also have an offer, a flash sale that you're doing. I just want to make sure you get time for telling us
Yes.
about that.
Yeah. So this is my sacred branding and business mentorship, and it's 3 months, and it's for those that are kind of burnt out on this masculine flow. If they're in their business and they feel misaligned, they want to kind of burn it down to the ground and start over. Or if you're transitioning from corporate and you already have, the experience, you're ready to bring your business to life. This is 12 weeks together. The first 6 weeks are that slow feminine journey that I talked about. And then the second 6 weeks is the masculine, the marketing. You get website, visuals, social media plan, and implementation, as well as email marketing. And throughout the whole time, there's the messenger access. And if you're interested in cycle syncing, of really scheduling your business and your time around your cycle and including that. And the original pricing was already half of what it would be, because it includes strategy, human design coaching, all those things. Is like $15,000. And then my original price was 8,888. But this flash sale, which goes until October 15th, I extended it so people can
Mhm.
have time to make a decision, see if it's how it's feeling for them. It's 50% off of that. And
Wow.
I just
Yeah.
want, so I want everyone to go through this process to really, create that change within them so they can create the change outside of them.
Yeah, that's an amazing offer. Absolutely. It sounds like such a great program wherever you're at, even if you've got a business and you've been doing that, but it's just not working, right? If it's
Yes.
just not working. Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you so much for sharing today. Is there any final thoughts before we go that you'd like to share?
Oh, really? Just how much what you're doing here is in alignment with what I'm doing. Like we have a very similar mission, and I would love to, get to know your audience, or if you know anyone like there, I'm sure there's a way to collaborate or just spread the message about being in alignment and feminine first, leading with the feminine is definitely top of mind.
I love that feminine first, leading with, yeah, because I talk about feminine energies a lot, but I just like that feminine first. Let us take the lead. Let us take
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think that would be wonderful to do that. And we're going to make sure all the links are here right after the show. We'll go in and put those in there for everyone so they have them. And I just want to thank you again for being here. And it was wonderful. And for our listeners, thank you for being here as well. And if you're a woman interested in aligning your heart centered business with your ethics, values, and life goals, join our Aligned Business Building Mastermind. And I'm Larissa Russell of Heart.